Shall be when the Lord thy God hath given thee rest from all thine enemies round about in the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee for an inheritance to possess it, that thou shalt blot out the remembrance of Amalek from under heaven.
Who's Amalek?
Not forget it.
When you read Genesis 36,
the Amalekites were a descendant
of Esau. What does the word Edomite mean? The suffix ite means descendant of. Like, for example,
are all Edomites Amalekites?
No, but I'm going to show you why that's not relevant. What's your name, if you don't mind me asking?
Jeffrey.
A Jeffreyite would be what?
A son of Jeffrey.
A descendant of Jeffrey.
Right.
So if you have 20 kids, every single one of your 20 kids is 50 kids, is 100 kids, is a Jeffreyite.
Okay.
Amalek is a Edomite because the suffix ite means descendant from. Edom, descendant from Edom. God commanded his people to utterly blot out the remembrance of Amalek. What does that mean? We read this in 1 Samuel 15 when Saul was given that charge. Yes. Kill the men, kill the women, kill the children.
When Ham uncovered his father's nakedness, right?
No, Ham did.
Yeah. The curse was placed on Ham or on Canaan?
Canaan.
Okay, so there was a curse that was unique to Canaan that the other descendants of Ham did not fall under?
Yes.
Okay, so
here's the problem though. You can say here you go, but you would now have to be inferring that is exactly what was going on with the case of Amalek. You can only take that principle and attempt to infer it with Amalek. You can't prove it. You can just
and I would say the same argument for you.
No. Yeah. You can't make that argument for me because you're attempting to infer something. I'm not inferring anything. I'm going predicated upon what it says. Like for example, so does that mean Israel, for there's this disobedience, was put under a curse, right?
Yes.
Deuteronomy 28. Does that mean every son of Abraham is under a curse?
No, not necessarily.
Well, wait a minute. I thought that because Canaan was cursed, and you can correlate that with Amalek. No, you can't.
They are no longer under the curse, but under the blessing. Would you
under
agree?
The curse of what?
Of Deuteronomy 28.
No, they're still under the curses.
So then they're all under the curses.
Yes, every Israelite is under the curse.
But you just said that individuals can be under the curses or the blessings. You just said not all of Israel is under the curse.
That's not what I said. Maybe you misinterpreted what I said.
Okay, you asked me, and I said no, not all of Abraham's seed are under a curse.
Right, but here's what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
Your position concerning Amalek and thou shalt not abhor Edomite.
Yeah.
I made mention of 2 chapters later when God said utterly blot out the remembrance of Amalek, right? Then you mentioned.
Well, he's addressing the Edomites, and then now he's telling them to exterminate Amalekites.
Are Amalekites Edomites?
They are descendants, but not all Edomites are Amalekites.
That's not the point. Are Amalekites Edomites? Yes or no?
Right. Yes.
Yes. Okay. So then, what you're saying has no relevance. Now, what you attempted to do was go to Genesis, I think 9, when Ham uncovered the nakedness of Noah, and so we'll see. Just because Ham did it, and then his son got cursed, Canaan got cursed, that doesn't mean that curse applies to all of Ham's children, and you try to correlate that with Esau and Amalek. So then I told you, well, I see why you would attempt to infer that, but the context lets you know that's not true. And I gave an example. For example, Israel is under the curses of Deuteronomy 28 for their disobedience. Are all of Abraham's kids, descendants, under the curses? No, they are not. So Kenizzite and Edomite. It depends on the context. There's 2 different Kenazzes. So if you're going to go to Caleb, the son of Jephunneh, there's 2 different Kenazzes.
So Genesis 15 and 19.
There is a Kenaz who is a son of Edom. There's also a Kenaz who is an Israelite. In the Blue Letter Bible will tell you that. The stranger, hear their prayers.
Yes, if the stranger that is amongst thee, then hear their prayers. Yes, then hear thou from the heavens, even from thy dwelling place, and do according to all that the stranger calleth to thee for. So those are other nations, and God is answering their prayers?
Yes, but that's not relevant to the conversation.
But they are being blessed by God. They're being blessed by the Most High.
Their prayers being answered, but that's not relevant to the conversation.
How is that not relevant to the conversation?
Well, I would like for you to explain how that is relevant to the conversation.
But you've explained that they're being blessed by God. They're being blessed by the Most High.
Their prayers being answered, but that's not relevant to the conversation.
How is that not relevant to the conversation?
Well, I would like for you to explain how that is relevant to the conversation.
But you've explained that God doesn't love everybody based on his hate for Esau, right?
Do you agree?
I agree he hates Esau, the individual, because that's what the scripture says. That's what the scripture says about Esau.
Listen, you know you're caught.
I want to give all the praises and the honor to Yahweh by Hashem, Yahweh Shai by Hashem, Recha HaKodash, and double honors to the elder apostles and the elder bishops of Great Millstone. Salute and honors to you, brethren, you other elders, you brethren you fellow believers of this faith, all you who are in support of the ministry, even you few sincere few sisters that do support this truth, and shalom to the hopefully elect, shalom to the elect, peace. So anyway, before I get started in the video, this is a video from HASSAD SICARII, right? So first I want to say with HASSAD SICARII, HASSAD, he seems to be the most sincere, very good teacher. It looks like he takes a little bit from a chief priest, Al-Azhar, in the way he teaches, because he looks up to him, obviously. But he seems more mature and more dedicated. That's just my opinion. It still doesn't make him right. But in this debate, obviously, I saw a few things, but obviously, you know, he got through the debate, and I wanted to touch on a couple things just to to edify the situation and some of the things he said, which was true. Now, first, going into Numbers 13:6. It says, Numbers 32:12. It says, Caleb, the son of Jephunneh, the Kenizzite, and Joshua, the son of Nun, for they have wholly followed the Lord. So this is David Lynn's peers or students, right? They probably needed David Lynn there, but they did all right according to their Christian doctrine. But it still doesn't mean they knew, right? So the Kenizzite, just because you see a Kenizzite doesn't mean that's an Edomite. Whenever you see Simon the Zealot or such and such, the such and such, it's just labeling a title or another nation along with them, but it doesn't mean that they're that nation, like where they bordered. So you might see, this is why you don't see David the Judite, because it's well known where he dwelt. Okay, so whenever you see such and such, the such and such, it's probably not of that nation. You might see somebody say such and such, the Edomite, or such and such, the Cushite, right? That's not likely of them. In fact, you had other nations. I can't remember, it was a Moabite king that was ruling for another nation. So these things happen. And in some, like Jush or Jesh, you had names of the Edomites. Well, I believe Jeush came out of the Edomites' name as well. And then you had that same name with the Israelites. So you can't go on strictly with the namesake. So how do we know Jephunneh is not an Edomite? Well, we'll go here to Numbers 13:6. I'm just making it plain and simple. It says, of the tribe of Judah, Caleb, the son of Jephunneh. So how is he the tribe of Judah if he's an Edomite? That wouldn't make no sense. That would make Caleb an Edomite. Moving on. I just wanted to say that. That would have been real easy, but when you're on camera and you're debating, everybody got their different ways of defending and debating. So what's his name? Chief Priest Al-Azhar, whatever his name is, or their deacons, they would go probably approach it in a different way. I'm not sure, but let's say another camp like Great Millstone, we would have approached it probably a little different. Okay, so we go to 2 Chronicles 6. 2 Chronicles 6. What he brought in about the strangers. Now, if you go up, I don't think I'm going to read all of this. This is, what is this called? Solomon's prayer to the dedication. Now, all through here, he was talking about the children of Israel, the God of the Israelites, so we could see this is appointed first, about the Israelites. So when we go down here to verse 32, it says, moreover, concerning the stranger, which is not, and this is where the universalism come in, where sometimes stranger can mean a heathen, sometimes it can mean an Israelite. However you want to look at it, but that's what it is. It said, moreover, concerning the stranger, which is not of thy people Israel, right? But come from a far country, for thy great name's sake. Okay, so you can always look at it. Is different ways of looking at it. You can always look at it. You had our people like Jephunneh. They said the Kenizzite, but let's say, okay, this is heathens. Okay, so when you look at it, let's read. It says, with a mighty hand stretched out arm, if they come and pray in this house, then hear thou from the heavens, even from the dwelling place, and do according to all that the stranger calleth to thee for, that all the people of the earth may know his name, thy name, and fear thee. I don't know why the Christians think that all we're about is condemning all nations. We're the only ones going to be delivered. Everybody else is going to hell. Well, that's absolutely not the case. There will be other nations. All nations, when the kingdom is set up, will praise the name of the Lord, right? They will praise the children of Israel. They're all going to follow what we set up and set the stage to do. This is how you know if the righteous is in authority, because if the righteous was in authority, they would have the whole world following the customs of the Hebrew Israelites, right? So let's go to Isaiah 47, Isaiah 49, Salaki, and 23. And kings shall be thy nurse and fathers, and their queens thy nurse and mothers. They shall bow down to thee with their face toward the earth, and lick up the dust of thy feet. And thou shalt know that I am the Lord, for they shall not be ashamed that wait for me. So clearly you're going to have other nations who are going to be under the children of Israel. You've seen Rahab did what she had to do to get her house spared. Well, if you're going to want to say saved for that appropriate time, true. But there was always, just like we were under the Romans, okay? So when we go here let's go to a little commentary real quick and see what the commentary says. This says, moreover, concerning the stranger, in this verse, and they got the precept, 1 Kings, are run together probably by error of transcription. For thy great namesake, kings, for the namesake. When you look at Chronicles, that breaks down to, it goes to chronology. That's what Chronicles mean in the time, and you'll see things that were in Kings and Samuel, so forth. So when we go to the precept, which they have here, 1 Kings 8 and 41, it says, let me see where I'm at. 1 Kings 8 and 41, it says, moreover, concerning the stranger that is not of thy people Israel, but cometh out of a far country for thy name's sake, for they shall hear of thy great name, right? The Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushua, the children and the children of Israel, and of the strong hand, and thy stretched out arm, because of the deliverances that we obtained, right? When he shall come and pray toward this house, hear thou in heaven thy dwelling place, and do according to all that the stranger calleth to thee for. See that? To all that the stranger calleth to thee for, to do all that the stranger call to thee for. It says that all people of the earth may know thy name, to fear me, for to fear thee, and do thy people Israel, right? It says, as do thy people Israel, and that they may know that this house which I have builded, is called in thy name, right? So that's the point. So understand that at the end of it all, the children of Israel, Psalms 147 and 19, he sheweth his word unto Israel. He's not dealt so with any nation. Now, Esau had a blessing with the sword, right? So there was different covenants, different blessings. But when you go all the way through, as I just read Isaiah 49 and 22, okay, you can, even when it talks about Abraham's seed, well, Abraham had children, but if you read Deuteronomy 17, it says, in Isaac shall thy seed be called. Okay, there are Hebrews, but the Israelites is a totally different nation. So we go down here to Luke. Let's go to Jeremiah 30:16. Therefore, all they that devour thee shall be devoured, and thine adversaries, every one of them, shall go into captivity. So how is it they're going to go into captivity? They're going to serve the children of Israel. And they that spoil thee shall be for a spoil. We read this in Isaiah 49:22. Right? You can also read in Revelation. Right? It says, if he that leadeth the captivity shall go into captivity. And it says, and all that prey upon thee will I give for a prey. This is what it is. I don't know why Christians, they'll look in the Bible and they'll try to find something to say, save everybody. Let's say there was a situation just like Rahab. And they'll say, well, that shows that the Lord can save all nations. Well, number one is dealing with nations. It's individuals, but it's nations. Because if that was the case, then maybe not all of us would have got the punishment as a whole nation. So this is what the brother HASSAD is saying. So that them as a whole nation have to get the punishment, as Job 34, I think 29 says. Whether it be done against a man, a nation, or a man only, the nation of these people has got to go into captivity. Not just because you've seen one individual or a couple of people so-called, I'm saying so-called, be spared and saved. You see this with, what is the name that brought in, I can't remember, Ruth. When Ruth, her whole business, her whole job was to bring in that seed. And Naomi, as we know, once that seed came through, she took the child and they named the child. So how is it that she had a blessing to be able to bring that child, but she was a heathen? Ruth was a heathen. And it was a blessing to her, I believe it was Boaz. She felt blessed to do that. That was like a blessing to help bring in the children, use him, well, not use him, he used her to bring that seed forth. That's what it is. Let's go to Luke 1:68. And this is how we know it, according to Ruth, because, you know, that way it was done wasn't customary to the Israelites. Soon as she had that baby, Naomi took that child. Okay? So it wasn't like that certain situations we didn't mess with heathens. Anyway, Luke 1:68, blessed be the Lord God of Israel, for he's visited and redeemed his people, and raised up an horn of salvation unto the house of his servant David. This is what we're reading in 1 Kings. This is exactly what we're reading about Solomon calling out to the blessings of David. You know, at the end of the day, that's what it is. If it was for everybody, it would say here Solomon, and it would say David and the whole world, right? It wouldn't even have to say that. If all nations can lay hold to the covenant, all nations can get salvation, these scriptures would not have to be here. It would simply just say, so forth, that blessed be the people of God, which we know they're still Israelites, but blessed be the people of God. He's redeeming all the people, right? But it made it specifically here, blessed be the God of Israel, for he visited and redeemed his people. This way it says here. Now all our nations are enemies. Every one of them had a hand in our captivity. It says that we should be saved from our enemies and from them, from the hand of all them that hate us. Now we can go into scriptures, and it says to perform the mercies promised by our fathers, and to remember the holy covenant, the oath which was swear to our father Abraham. We could read this whole thing. And then you can go to Romans, the 9th chapter. You can go to Matthew, I believe Matthew, the 16th chapter, or 19th chapter. You can go to Revelation, where it says, you shall sit judging the 12 tribes of the nation of Israel. The north gate, south, east, and west. Well, why isn't any heathens up in there? This is telling you this is the leadership of the Israelites who's going to lead the heathens in the rest of the world. That's all it is. And Edom is getting swift destruction from his judgment. He's going to do his time in slavery, and then that's it. He's done. And then the earth will be fully at rest. Hope this lesson was edifying. That's all I have on that. Shalom.